Remember when the convent tried selling sea grape juice to make money for upkeep? Upkeep still costs just as much and they're still just as broke, but it's possible the answer to their problem has been staring them in the face for over 200 years.
Two things have not changed through the centuries: the oven in which we bake our bread and our bread. When the wind is right, its aroma sings a siren song that no one can resist.
We're going to get a nifty little cartoon-type montage with that aroma. If this was a cartoon, they'd be lifted off the floor and sort of drift into the kitchen. But this is real life. We know there's only one person at the convent who can do that. Someone else is about to be captivated by that aroma. He's in a bit of a lather because his car just overheated right at the gate to the convent. But you can't stay angry when the smell of that bread hits you.
Sister, I beg your pardon, sister, but if I might impose upon you,
Well, that's what we're here for. What can I do for you?
I wonder if you could spare a bucket of water and just one slice of that bread I smell.
Bread and water? We may not be the richest convent in the world, but I'm sure we can come up with a glass of milk and a sandwich.
How many people do you know who drink their water out of a bucket, sister? He explains that the water is for the car, and the bread is because if he gets out of here without learning whether it tastes as good as it smells, he may regret it for the rest of his life.
Absolutely the best bread I've ever tasted.
Thank you.
Many thanks, sisters. If ever I can return your courtesies, please do not hesitate to call.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, senor.
Bye, sisters.
Bye-bye. Bye. San Juan Grocery Company, Roberto Sanchez, president.
He owns one of the largest grocery chains on the island, and in subsequent conversations with him, we'll learn that he hates the bread he's selling right now. He would be delighted to sell theirs instead. And the money would do wonders for Reverend Mother's ever-growing stack of bills. Sister Bertrille has it all worked out, and the other sisters have all agreed to pitch in and help.
Now all I need is your permission to go ahead on one insignificant little detail.
And what is that?
I have to promote $1,000 to buy an oven.
Why? That stone oven they've been using is part of what gives the bread its flavor and character. Take that away and you only have half the equation.
That sounds like a significant big detail. How do you intend to raise that much money?
At the casino.
Sister Bertrille.
Oh, come on. She should know by now that there's only one reason Sister Bertrille would go to the casino, and it's not to gamble.
Good morning.
Good morning, sister. What do you want this time?
Carlos, why is it that every time I come over to pay you a friendly call, you think I want something?
Because every time you want something, you come to pay a friendly call.
He's not wrong, and she just needs one little favor.
You want me to buy a loaf of bread? One single solitary loaf of bread? My pleasure.
Don't you even want to know how much it's going to cost?
How much can it cost?
For you, $1,000.
But you just tried the bread, and wouldn't you agree it's worth it?
With an oven like this, our problems are over.
Oh, it's beautiful.
There's only one thing I'd like to know. How did you get Senor Carlos to give you the money to buy it?
I cried a lot.
How long will it take her to figure out that thing's quirks? I repeat, the stone oven is part of the recipe. They don't seem to realize that. Meanwhile, Sister Jacqueline is in charge of advertising.
Buy convent bread, none better.
None is spelled N-O-N-E, no?
No, I think she meant it to be a pun.
Oh. Oh, I'm mixed up. Are we baking bread or puns?
Has anyone told her what a pun is? The ad campaign is a work in progress.
Oh, terrific.
I like it.
Good.
But don't you think we're opening ourselves up for a lot of jokes like fit for angels, not humans?
Plus, Jesus said he was the bread from heaven, so if somebody puts those two things together, they'll think you're cannibals. They're ready to get started.
Any questions?
Yes. 1 loaf of bread I know how to make, but what is 1 pinch of salt for 200 loaves?
200 pinches.
Oh, and then I have to figure out how much flour I'm gonna need.
After some calculations, the answer is she'll need a lot more than she has on hand.
No, not again. Absolutely not.
But, Carlos...
Sister, I'm sorry, but the well has finally run dry.
As if. She gets the money out of him by explaining that if he buys the flour for them, she'll be too busy baking bread to come over here and bug him. And I repeat, as if. But hope springs eternal in Carlos's heart, so as usual, he'll cave in and give her whatever she wants.
98. 99.
Are you sure we can't help you, Sister
100.
Sisto?
You gotta keep the rhythm. 102.
103. Michael, row the boat ashore.
I never understood that song. Who's Michael and where's he going with the boat? But it should make kneading the dough a little less tedious.
Now, calm down, everybody. Calm down. Now, who was in charge of putting in the yeast?
Don't just stand there, attack!
Well, once the bread dough rises, you're supposed to punch it down and let it rise some more, so everybody start punching. Quick. The first batch is done, and Sister Bertrille will do her best to get it to Senor Sanchez while it's still warm.
Are you all right, Sister Bertrille? Never mind me. What about the bread?
It may take some doing. Oh, Carlos?
Senor, pull around the corner, please.
Since when does this town have a motorcycle cop? Since they had the chance to get Jamie Farr to play him. He says Carlos was speeding.
Why didn't you stop when I signaled you back there?
We couldn't see you. If you look for yourself, you'll see that the rearview mirror is completely blocked.
Excuse me, sister. Do you mind speaking a little slower, please? I do not want to miss a single violation.
Quit helping, sister. Carlos also forgot his wallet, so he doesn't have his license. He's going to have to take out a second mortgage on the casino just to pay the tickets.
What's going on here? Sister Sisto lost her ring. How? When?
If I knew how and when, I would also know where, then it would not be lost.
Well, when did you first miss it?
When I was through with the baking, my finger felt funny.
Funny? In what way?
Well, you know, naked.
There's only one place it could be, and that means there's a chance someone will break a tooth on it. There's nothing for it. Sister Bertrille will take to the sky and gather up all the loaves she can find. The ring isn't in any of them.
My ring! Oh, see the engraving? It's mine. Thank you.
Is that dumb luck? It was in your bread all the time.
How fortunate. And you found it when you cut into it.
Not when I cut into it.
The good news is he can afford to have it fixed. I can't believe I said that.
Reverend Mother, I've got great news. We solved the mystery.
Splendid. However, I was not aware that we had a mystery.
Yes, well, we didn't want to burden you with it until we had the solution. Turns out that Sister Sisto's bread has a 9.5 return factor in relation to consumer acceptance.
Could you translate that for me, Sister Bertrille?
The customers hated it.
I'm telling you, abandoning the old oven was your mistake. Return that fancy stainless steel one and be content with producing fewer loaves but better.
I cannot believe that. I believe it. What went wrong?
Well, that was the mystery. Now, it couldn't have been the flour, the yeast, the butter, or the eggs, so there's only one thing left. The oven.
It really is a burden being right all the time, isn't it?
But it's a new oven.
Well, that's the point. Now, this is an old recipe, and it probably needs an old oven to bring out the subtle old world flavor.
I believe I said that half an hour ago. But she has a plan to sell the new oven and buy 10 old stone ones.
Sister Bertrille.
I know what you're going to say, Reverend Mother. Where are we going to put them? Well, we've got it all figured out. Now, we can knock out the south wall in the kitchen and extend it 10 feet into the chapel. Now, it could be...
Into the chapel?
Well, we hardly ever pray at the same time, and there's always empty pews.
Sister Bertrille, may I suggest that you use one of those pews immediately and pray? Pray for the return of your sanity.
In case it wasn't clear, you can take that as a no.
Yes, Reverend Mother. Reverend Mother, can I just say one thing?
Yes?
My Aunt Louise has this fantastic recipe for fudge brownies that would put Girl Scout cookies out of business. Now, if we can just figure out a way how to raise enough money to buy 300 pounds of fudge, then we can use the new oven and now we
Sister Bertrill.
Yes, Reverend Mother, I'm on my way to the chapel.
That's two great big no answers in less than 20 seconds. Care to go for the record on a hat trick? But she has such great ideas, as long as she can tap Carlos to finance them. And if Carlos took some time to really think about this, he'd just take a good-sized chunk of money and set it up as an endowment for the convent that they can use as an ongoing resource that draws interest to help replenish itself. If he did that, Sister Bertrill would never need to come see him again. I figure he'd be able to stand that for about a week. For all his gripes, he feels protective. She's the annoying kid sister who's always barging into his room unannounced to borrow his stuff, and he complains non-stop about her. But if anybody tries to cross her, they'll have him to deal with, and it won't be pleasant. That's his little sister, and only he gets to pick on her once she's done relieving him of his cash. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button to let me and YouTube know you want to see more. If you're not subscribed yet, punch me in the mask here and get signed up so you don't miss a thing, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Achoo! Achoo! He was the bread from heavens. Less than 20 seconds. Good grief. That draws interest, that earns it, that they can... Okay, come on. Don't rearrange the sentence.